All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and today is the day after court. Yesterday I had court for Bryan number 1, a court date that I never thought was going to come, justice that I never thought that I would see, and a case that I thought was basically all for nothing. I went and tried to put charges on this man and didn't hear anything, well, until after a year later. So I shared with you guys yesterday that I had court. Well, now I want to share with you guys what happened. And when I tell y'all it was pretty wild, I think it was. So you let me know what you think. So I go into this courthouse yesterday. I got the bubble guts. I'm feeling all sorts of crazy, thinking all sorts of crazy things. And I look on the docket. I can see, the case against Bryan. And I go up into the courtroom. And it said that his court was at 8:47 in the morning. Or 8:45 in the morning, and it was 8:47 when I got into the courthouse. So the first thing that I'm thinking is that I missed the court date, right? The hearing. I go into the courtroom, and they got cases taking place over the computer screen, the Zoom court stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, I probably missed this. I didn't show up. They probably dismissed this. Who the hell knows? Finally, I see this prosecutor come in at 9 o'clock in the morning. And when I tell you guys that this dude was disheveled, that's the first word that comes to mind. My cousin Vinny, the second thought that comes to mind. And I shared in the video yesterday how when I first began to speak with this guy, I don't know this guy from Adam at all. So how was I to even know that this was him? Well, I could hear his voice. Voice recognition software in my brain let me know that's the guy right there. Sounded like a young white dude that I was talking with, and that's kind of what the dude was. So he comes into the courtroom all disheveled, doesn't say anything to me, doesn't know, who I am just yet. And he kind of almost gets to arguing with the judge, a black woman who doesn't seem to be going for any of his bullshit. He's got an attitude. And I noticed this when I was on the phone with the dude. He seems like he deals with a lot of shit with his job, and he probably has a high level of stress behind that. But, he almost gets to arguing with the judge in there over the fact that he's got to go up to circuit court, which is high court. We're in general district court where this is taking place. And basically what's going to happen is Bryan's going to be offered a plea bargain. If he doesn't accept that plea bargain, then a preliminary hearing is going to take place, which is going to be a evidentiary hearing, something along them lines, to see if they got enough evidence to certify this to high court for trial. Or it gets thrown out. That's what happens in general district court. So when he begins to tell the judge, hey, look, I got to go up to high court. I got to go up to circuit court, whatever. She's like, well, how long are you going to be? How many cases do you have in my courtroom? He's like, I don't know. I just got in here. I don't know. She's like, well, could you look? He's like, I got a few. She's like, okay, well, how long are you going to be? I don't know. I'll be back as soon as I can. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm listening to this play out, it was at first I was thinking, I got the problem. I'm arguing with, this guy. I've only been on the phone with him for 2 minutes, thinking back to when I had the phone call with him last week. So anyways, I realized this guy's got a bit of an attitude problem as well, or whatever. Maybe he's just a hard person to get along with, like I myself can be as well. So I thought the case was at 8:45. That's what it said. But, here we are. It's like 10 o'clock in the freaking morning and still nothing going on. The man would actually call my name. Hey, is there a Guerrero in here? Yeah, that's me. And he's like, okay. By the way, he got back into the courtroom probably like 20 or 30 minutes later. He wasn't gone for very long. But I was also thinking, and forgive me, I'm a little all over the place with this. It's, almost 5 o'clock in the evening. As I'm filming this video, I've already filmed 2 videos today and been working on the flip house and went to court. So my brain's kind of fried right this second. But I want to share this while it's fresh on my mind. While he was almost arguing with the judge, this prosecutor was, I was thinking to myself, oh, shit balls, we're going to lose this case. She already don't like this guy. Now, as I would sit there and wait, I would see other cases take place and other prosecutors, and the prosecutor's office is young. A lot of young prosecutors, a lot of young public defenders as well. And everybody who was going into court yesterday was seeming to get off. Whether they were going in there there was a strangulation charge. Dude got good behavior. Strangled a girl. Assault and battery on a police officer ×3. Time served. an OR bond, own reconnaissance. We're just going to let you back out there. So it seemed like everybody was getting off. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, if everybody's getting off and the prosecutor's already arguing with the judge, maybe Bryan's going to get off as well. Eventually, the prosecutor would call me into the hallway and we would talk. Hey, look, we're going to offer Bryan the plea. Now, mind you, I've been in the courtroom for like an hour and a half. I would have figured they would have already done this by this point, but they haven't. They're like, hey, look, we're going to offer Bryan this plea bargain. The plea bargain was this. We're going to drop the construction fraud felony to a misdemeanor construction fraud. And then the other petty larceny, which was a misdemeanor, you're going to keep that as well. So he was going to get 2 misdemeanors. And the deal was that he had to pay me back $4,400 within a year. If he doesn't pay me that money back, he's going to get locked up for a year or 6 months, which would be, because on a misdemeanor, you only do 50% of your time. So that was the plea bargain they were going to go at Bryan with. And I was, hesitant on I was definitely thinking he's not going to accept this, right? This is the type of guy, I just thought that he wasn't for whatever reason. I'm not going to get too deep with that. And the reason I thought he wasn't going to accept it was because I know he's got probation. And a violation this would add to a violation some time that he would have to serve. So they go back there and his public defender gives him the option of this plea bargain. And he wants to accept the plea bargain. But there's a stipulation. If he pays me back the money, he wants this to be dismissed. Right? He would say through his lawyer, who would tell the prosecutor, who would tell me, he's scared of his violation. He doesn't want to get violated. And I don't care whether the man gets violated or not. I'm happy with the fact that we're talking about me potentially getting my money back. So I'm like, look, hey, I don't care. And do I honestly think this guy is going to pay me back $4,400 in a year? I don't. I honestly think he's going to get out. He's not going to, this is what I'm thinking at the time. He's going to get out. He's never going to pay me back. And, maybe he gets locked up later on down the road. Like, who's going to keep track of this dude? Whatever. It's an opportunity for him to get out right now. They could have said, hey, look, you're going to pay him back $20,000 in a year. So anyways, that was a stipulation that he wanted. If he pays me back the money, then the charge goes away. I wanted to see this construction fraud stick to this dude. I want this to be something that you carry with you. This is what you've done. Not only to me, but I've heard through the grapevine, you've done this to countless other people as well. So you need this. Like, I feel like this is justice. So I'm not thrilled about the fact that the charge will go away, but if I get my money back, I've got no more. I'm okay. So the prosecutor says, hey, look, are you okay with this? Like, if he pays you back, the charge goes away. And I'm like, yeah, sure. That's fine. So that's it. Now we've got to court. We got to go through with this case, right? So finally, like about 10:30 in the morning, they bring out Bryan. They call me up. I'm standing over there at the plaintiff's prosecution area. And I am looking at Bryan coming out in handcuffs and shackles, looking clean cut, not looking at me at all. And I mean, I'm looking dead at the man. I want to make eye contact with you. I want to wave. I want to say, yeah, gotcha. Kind of, not really, but I do want to have that eye contact, that moment of connection right there in the courtroom. He knows I'm there. He probably asked his court-appointed lawyer, yo, is that guy out there? He is. Shit. He wouldn't even look at me. And in that moment, it kind of registered with me, and I don't want to get all boo-hoo for Bryan, because forget the guy, fuck him, to be honest. In that moment, I had a moment where I was reminded of me walking into the courtroom, handcuffed and shackled in my shower shoes, humiliated. You're humiliated. I can't even say the word correctly. It's a humiliating situation. You're sitting there. You have to face the music. You have to face the victims. I'm a victim in this. That sounds so weak. So there was not like this whole gotcha. Ha ha ha. Hey boy, look at you, boy. Hey, you locked up, ain't you? I wanted it to be like that. At first it was kind of like that when I first heard that he got locked up. But watching him walk into the courtroom, hearing that he's on trustee, hearing that he gets out in December after Christmas for whatever he's locked up for, hearing that he's got to pay me back $4,400 and he's entering into this plea bargain, acknowledging the fact that there's enough evidence against him to justify pleading guilty to this, that was vindicating. And again, let me say this. I was fully committed and ready with my notes and my, going over this case, my bullet points. January 7th, January 17th, January 31st, I sent the letter with the certified letter. 15 days later, he had not responded. Boom, I proceeded with legal action. I was ready to go to war. I felt like this dude was going to want to fight this. I felt like this was going to be a chess match. And it wasn't that. What's going to happen when this dude gets out? He's going to have to go try to find work. He's got, these charges looming. If somebody does a background check on him, will this even pop up? Or, is this one of those deferred situations where, it's probably got to be a deferred situation until January of 2023. We've got a court date for a year in the future. Over a year in the future. We've got a court. So that was a good thing that they did in the courtroom as well. They actually set a court date for a year later after this man is released to say whether or not, did he pay me my money back? Did he make any kind of an effort to pay me my money back? Like, what's going on? And on that court date, if he hasn't, well, then he's going to be found guilty of these charges and he's going to have to serve like 6 months. And I feel like there's some vindication in that as well. I think back to the electrician on Flip 2 who I sued. I got $3,000. I was awarded $3,000. I've yet to see a penny of that. Shit, I'm almost $8,000 in judgment. And, will I ever see any of that money? How crazy would it be if Bryan gets out and tries to come and say, hey, look, let me work off that money? How crazy would that be? I doubt that I'm going to allow that to happen. Let me just go ahead and say that. I was super nervous about this. I thought there was a possibility the judge might throw this out. Hey, look, the prosecutor even told me that. He said, hey, look, these judges, they don't understand construction fraud, or not all of them get it. A lot of them think that it's a civil matter. Take them to small claims court. But, when I think back to suing the contractor, he wasn't the electrician, he wasn't even really an electrician, from the second flip house. Shit, if I'd have pursued the charges like I did with Bryan, at least there's that cloud over their head that says, hey, look, if you don't pay them back, your ass is getting locked up. I feel vindicated in this matter. I'm no longer going to carry this grudge. I carried a hell of a grudge. We made t-shirts about this man. Bryan, where's my HVAC system? I put them all over social media. Construction fraud, you scam artist. You messed with the right one. I think that in certain cases, there's different strokes, right? I'm a guy who does social media. So scorn me if you want to. I'm going full throttle. But I'm done with it at this point. I hope the man serves his time, gets out, finds work. Don't come asking me for no work. And is able to, do I expect him to pay me back all this money in a year? Even if you've paid me back a good majority of it, I'll appreciate the effort. And that'll count for a lot. So, I want to say that. Never thought that I would see this day. There's others who have been done wrong by this man, allegedly, who I don't think have had their day in court and probably never will. Maybe they didn't pursue the matter. So I hope, even though they'll probably never even know about this, they find some kind of solace knowing that, well, there was a hero in the form of a guy with a prison YouTube channel named Joe Guerrero. I'm just kidding. Hey, look, let me know what you guys think about the situation. Did this man get off? Was this a sweet deal for him? Hey, look, he got to ex-Nate probation violation. This was something extra that he doesn't have to take to that. So I think that it's a win-win for all parties involved. And we'll get to drag this out for another year in terms of, what's going to come of the end game. Maybe he won. Who knows? You guys let me know what you thought about this. Wanted to share this with you guys. Glad to know that this is over with. And yeah, we'll just have to see how it all plays out in the future. Maybe I'll start getting some royalty checks in the mail from time to time. That would be nice. Thanks for taking the time. I look forward to talking with you guys again real soon. And until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace!